my actual hard copy
It's just
this
so
week.
it's so interesting because there's actually someone dressed as Red Robin. You know the old Red Robin, not the new, not what Tim Drake looks like now, but the older one. You know, with like the actual full like face mask,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
future Red
yeah. Oh,
Robin.
from like like the dark Blackest Night Red Robin.
Yeah. So really, that's just it was just a fun little book. Then I decided I was going to read Batman Teenage. It's Batman week. It's Batman week. I read Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 number 2. Uh, I loved the first time that they crossed over. This time that they crossed over, I'm loving it again. So here's the premise: Donatello um, creates a portal. Bane ends up getting sucked in. Bane ends up in the Turtles universe,
Hmm.
and Bane takes over. I mean, takes fucking over. He takes over the Foot Clan, everything, and he is laying waste to New York City in the Turtles universe. Donatello gets ported to Gotham, where he has to get Batman and Damian's help to create a portal to go back. So they have to get these certain elements. One of these pieces for the portal, one of them is held by Mr. Freeze. And Damien and Donatello are chasing after Mr. Freeze, and Damien's like, "Come, Turtle, we must catch Mr. Freeze." And Donatello's like, "I have a name. It's Donnie. It's not Turtle." Well, Donatello's telling Damien because Freeze is freezing everything. He's like, "You need to slow down or you're gonna crash." Well, Damien does crash. So Donatello whips together a sled, and Damien's like, "Haha, Mr. Freeze, you cannot escape the Bat Sled." So they beat Mr. Freeze, and Donatello is like, "Oh, Victor Freeze, I loved your work on this, that, and the other thing." And Damien's like, usually we don't talk and idolize the villains that we just beat the crap out of."
One of my favorite things about Damian Wayne is Bruce spent all that time training the guard dog Titus to be uh, vicious and to guard everything, and Damien broke the training in like a day
Yeah.
and turned him into a house pet.
Um. So they end up getting the portal to work. They go to the Turtles universe. Um. There's a good scene with Bebop and Rocksteady. They're kind of like, you know, we can take on this Bane guy. He's not tough. We can kick his ass. They walk outside and it's Bane with all the Foot Clan, and Bane tells them to kneel, and they just kneel. They're like, "Fuck this. We're gonna kneel. We're gonna subserviate ourselves to Bane." Um, but so Batman is there, and Bane's whole thing is he's running low on Venom because he's not in his world anymore. So Batman's like, "That's when we're going to get him. We'll wait like another hour or two until he's almost out of Venom. We attack because he'll be at his weakest point." But Bane has captured Baxter Stockman and says, "This is Venom. This is the secret to my strength. You're gonna make me more of it." And that's the end of the issue. So I love how they incorporate. It just seems like the Batman
You know
Turtle
what I see
universe.
coming? I see a big animal mutated Bane at some point because Stockman's gonna stick some mutagen in there, and it's gonna it's gonna mutate him into some kind of animal beast.
It's real funny because they end up in the turtle sewer, lair, and the turtles come in. They're like, "Oh my God, it's Batman!" And Michelangelo goes, "And he brought Batboy." And Damien's like, "My name is Robin." And he goes, "Dad, we need to get out of here because the stench of the sewer is nauseating, and that pisses off Raphael because he said because Damien said that the turtle's home smells bad." But I love the artwork in this. It's uh, I'm gonna pull up who does the art. Freddie
Does
Freddie
Rivera
William
do that? Oh,
Freddie Williams the second does it, and this is written by James Tynion the fourth. And Tynion's a really I mean since Tynion came on the scene, there's not a book that I haven't said his writing was not good. He's another one of those from the Scott line.
well, he had a good deal to do with those Dark Knight metal tie-ins
Yeah,
he was writing. Those were all great.
and the Batman Eternal, that 52 week one. Remember Batman
Yeah, yeah,
Eternal?
yeah.
He
I think I've got every issue of that
Yeah, that
actually.
was a really good one. So those are ones I read this week that are really good. All of them pick up Batman heavy.
Continuing with Batman week. Interestingly enough, Superman this month is about 90% Batman story. It carries over from Detective uh, with the storyline, the Mr. Oz storyline. There's still some fallout going on from that. And in this issue, you got Bruce is at Wayne Manor. He gets attacked by the future Batman Tim Drake again. Comes back to the timeline and attacks Bruce. And Bruce is like, why do you keep coming to my timeline and screwing with my life? What are you doing here? And he's like, I'm not here to kill you, but I've got to slow you down. I've got to stop you because you're going to try to stop me for what I have to do. And so he ends up, he stabs Bruce in the leg with a big kitchen knife and basically takes Bruce out and then goes to the Fortress of Solitude. And then we switch to Superman's in the Fortress of Solitude. And there's kind of a cool moment in this with Superman kind of thinking back on all the stuff with Mr. Oz and Jor-El, because the statues of Jor-El and his mother got all broken up in the last melee at the fortress, and they're just now picking it up.
Uh-huh.
And he's as he's picking up the like the head of the Jor-El statue, and he's like he's realizing that he never put the Kent's statues in the fortress.
Oh.
And he's like, you know what? After all this time, he acts like he feels kind of ashamed. He's like, I never put Ma and Pa in here, and I don't know why I'd never done that. So, him and his robot assistant Kellex or whatever that thing's called, they're putting the statue back together, and they get a notice that there's a heat signature outside the fortress, and Clark's like, well, it's probably just a polar bear or whatever, and then it becomes, no, this is a bipedal intruder, humanoid intruder that's in the fortress. And Tim Drake Batman has now gotten in the fortress and is coming after and he's actually not there to kill Clark. He's there to slow Clark down and and to kind of take him out so that he can't stop him, because come to find out, Tim Drake's mission is to kill Jonathan Kent, the new Superboy, because of something he does in a future timeline or something. So he basically traps Clark in like this dome of red kryptonite where it just depowers Clark and kind of keeps him in like stasis. But I'm starting to go back on my Ozymandias Mr. Oz connection thing I was thinking of. I'm thinking Mr. Oz might be a far off old Tim Drake. It might be a way future Tim Drake, because when they're doing the whole when Jor-El had Tim Drake captured on this like the space station thing that he was on, he the Tim Drake Batman was already there captured as well, and Jor-El tells him, you know, of all the human beings here that are worthless or whatever, he's like, I thought you would be one worth saving, telling Tim Drake, because he's so brilliant.
Right.
And that's at the point where Tim Drake has hacked Jor-El's Kryptonian technology and flips the space station and frees himself. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking it's kind of a Thor God Bomb kind of thing with the three Thors. I'm thinking there's my new theory is now that there's a really old Tim Drake mastermind somewhere that's trying to change his current situation by manipulating his own past and going back to like two different stages of his own life to do it.
So this Mr. Oz thing, I mean, they're playing it. It's going to be a long haul story. The same with the future Tim Drake.
Yeah, I'm thinking that there's a reason. Like at first, I thought this is kind of annoying that this character's back already. After that, but I'm thinking there's going to be something major to do. And I'm thinking all of these big events that are going on, and this kind of semi kind of implanted in continuity within Batman and Superman, this Mr. Oz thing is kind of laying under the radar. I think all of this stuff is going to come together in some way under the Rebirth umbrella, and I think it's going to be epic when it happens.
Sounds.
So that's what I read this week. So Superman, very good. I think all the books I read were good this week.
All the ones I read were really good this week as well. It's been a great week for comics, so make sure you go out to your local comic shop, pick these up, and pick up other DC titles.
And support your local comic shops, by the way. This time of year especially is a good time. Get out to your local comic store and support your local business.
Get some of them comics for your loved ones for Christmas. Go pick up some books. Once again, thank you for everyone for the live show, and we will be back next week with a all-new episode.
And Star Wars commentary.
Yes, that'll be out very shortly, very shortly.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
Night, everybody.
Nerd Rage Renegades.